What's going on, everybody? Nice guy driver. The future of RideShare. What's going to happen in the future? And when I say in the future, we're talking 2 to 5 years in the future. I do believe that a good subscription model is going to come along. But the problem is everybody has this bad taste in this mouth because even though Trip Rides ended up being a scam, it probably was the biggest to expand a subscription-based idea. I'm talking Trip really licensed many states, probably all these little tiny subscription models that are actually active and making money. Trip expanded a lot bigger than that. I think it became a scam because they never actually built the app. And it put a bad taste in everybody's mouth. But I believe in the future, there will be a actual subscription-based model that won't be as big as Uber. So we need to get the comparison to Uber out of our mind, because Uber is dominant right now. And I think the reason why they're so dominant is because they infiltrated the taxis early. They started out basically almost a taxi service in the beginning. And that's how they were able to expand, where Lyft just came along as a secondary rideshare company. But I believe we can get to a point where we have a subscription-based model comparable to Lyft. Maybe not comparable to Uber, but comparable to Lyft, where it's at least nationwide. Not global, but at least nationwide in almost 50 states. Maybe 46 to 48 states. I think that's doable. The problem is Trip put a horrible taste in everybody's mouth to the point where we don't even believe it can happen. And these smaller subscription-based models, I hear about I hear about Rides, a lot of local-based fleet owners are trying to do their own apps. It's easy to do it, I think. I wouldn't say easy, but it's a lot more effective to come along and just start locally. And I don't know how we're going to get to the point of doing a subscription-based model that is nationwide. I can't give you the steps necessary, but I believe it's doable within 2 to 5 years, where we have something to the size of Lyft or comparable to Lyft. Here's what I would like to see. I would love to see, I don't think this is even possible because they're I don't think it's possible because they're actually public. But I would love to see a company come along, buy a company like Lyft out, and transform the platform to a subscription base. I don't even know if it's doable because the riders are already used to the way it is. But I don't see why not. I don't see why somebody can't come along, buy Lyft, send a message to all the current Lyft drivers that they're going to pay a one-time monthly fee. And they could even take their monthly fee out of their last earnings of that month. One-time flat fee, like say $29. And then you could even do a smaller daily fee on top of that. You could even do a monthly fee, let's say $29 or $29.95 or whatever. And then you could even do a daily transactional fee and put that fee on the passenger say $2 per ride, and do a slightly higher rate than Uber per ride, but more drivers will jump on that platform, which will force Uber and Lyft to lose some customers. Even though the ride will be more expensive, eventually some people will convert, I believe. For example, in your local town, all the rides are flat $10 within a certain mile radius, because I know Bridgeport, Connecticut is a lot bigger than a lot of towns. But you could do a flat $10 and then add that transitional $2 fee, say, onto each ride, regardless of the amount. I think that will be a much better situation. I think you could even do a lower. You could even do like a flat $5. We don't even get $5 for the driver. They're literally have rides at $3 and $4 that they're offering drivers. I think the minimum ride should be $5 to $10, and then add that $2 transitional fee that goes to the company to support the company on top of the $29 a month. I think you could still have $1 million company and drivers would be happy. But how do you could say a lot about Trip, but Trip actually licensed a lot of states before they went down. A lot of states. You know, and I get it. It ended up being fake. I didn't even think it was fake until Taha Abbasi, which was Trip Ride's chief technology officer, came on board and said that Trip was lying and they never had an app. They were trying to get him to build an app after, what, 2 to 4 years of pre-launch of this company. I was there from the beginning. I'm ashamed to say I was a promoter of Trip Rides because I believed in a subscription-based model so bad that I just wanted it to happen. I just wanted it to be true. That's it. And the RideShare professor, I got to keep it real. The RideShare professor, he knew from jump that it was, I don't know how he knew, but he knew from jump that it was just a scam. You know, he was all in the camera. It's a scam. But he was trying, I got to give RideShare professor his props, because even though he knew it was a scam, he was willing to let, I think his name was Bob McNulty, was the current CEO of Trip. He was going to allow him to come on and explain to the drivers in detail how you're going to make this company work. It only was a scam because they never had an app. The idea was real. The idea was amazing. They just never had an app and was taking money from drivers. That was what made it a scam. But they truly were getting these states licensed. I think they got like 3 or 4 towns in California licensed. They never got Connecticut licensed, but they had New York. I believe they had New Jersey. I believe they had several places in California. All the big states they had. I believe they even had Mass. They never got to Connecticut. But a lot of us drivers wanted it to happen because we wanted an alternative. We wanted a subscription-based model. And we don't need it to be big as Uber. That's the thing. We don't need it to be as big as Uber. Everybody's trying to compete with Uber. Sometimes you can't compete with the first. You can't compete with the grandfather sometimes. But I don't see why we can't come out with a subscription-based model, even a co-op, that competes with Lyft. Lyft is not that big, guys. And it still gives us the flexibility to, when we're not getting any rides on Uber, we can switch over to Lyft. Now imagine we had a third app that paid the drivers. Pretty much at that point, it would be like 90%. 90% of the fare. You know, the drivers felt more control. I don't think we really need the ability to adjust rates, because that will cause a bidding war down, because everybody's going to compete with other drivers and just keep driving the price back down. That's not going to work, in my opinion. Hit me in the comments if you know what I'm talking about. They were talking about doing that with Uber and Lyft for years. That's not going to work, in my opinion. I don't think we drivers need the ability to adjust our own fares, even though that would make us more independent. That's going to drive the price into the ground, because there's some desperate drivers that they simply would just drive the price down so they can get all the business. So I think we need flat rate pricing that's a little bit, maybe even $1 or $2 more than Lyft is. I would say, yeah, more than Lyft is. And it still would work, because the drivers would know they're getting more of the cut. And I would do a affiliate marketing program. I would, because that's going to get the word out faster. That's going to give drivers the opportunity to make some additional money. You know, there should be a sign-on bonus, but it should be a flat rate sign-on bonus. Say you could actually pay a driver even just $10 for every driver they sign up. $10 flat. Every driver they get signed up, there still will be people that will make thousands of dollars from that. The RideShare professor, perfect example. If you told a RideShare professor, we got a new subscription-based model that's big as Lyft, we need you to bring on a couple thousand drivers at only $10 a pop, and we're really going to pay you. You don't have to sue us. I think that would work. Why we can't pull it off, I don't know. I'm hearing a lot of companies with these co-ops and these different little small companies, they don't want to expand. A lot of them are happy being local, because, let's be honest, it takes a lot of money. It takes a lot of money to build a rideshare company. And a subscription-based model with a referral program built in. I'm not talking network marketing, just a normal referral program. You sign up one driver, you get a flat referral fee. On top of your earnings, I think drivers literally would make hundreds of dollars for a few hours of work, because in between driving, they can refer other drivers and make a killing. Trip never even got to that point where they were actually paying drivers their money to sign people up. So it never got to that point. I think unless they licensed that area, you didn't get paid for signing up drivers. But they never had an app. They never had an app. And Taha Abbasi, the chief technology officer, was the one that blew the roof off and outed the company and said, no, they never had an app. I'll link my video. I had a video where I talk about that and show his whole speech about that situation. If I remember, I'll link it below this video. But they wanted him to build an app after the fact, like 4 years later. And he said, basically, this is what they're trying to do is impossible. They're trying to, in 6 months, build an app that takes literally years to build. They should have brought in somebody like Taha from Jump. You know, they brought in Taha near the end of Trip, near the destruction. And from what they gave him, he couldn't do it. And he brought up a lawsuit. I don't know what came of it. A lot of people were on board with it. And to this day, I believe Bob McNulty's son and daughter are still trying to promote this fake, what do they call it? I don't even know what they call it. It's like a food delivery version of Trip. And they're still trying to keep the hope alive. And unfortunately, I heard Bob McNulty died 2021, sometime during this pandemic. And I don't remember what he died of. He was relatively elderly and sick. I want to say he was like 80-something years old, but I think he was sick. So it wasn't like he was died of old age. I think he had some type of sickness. And I still have recruiters saying, "Oh, Trip's still alive." I think they were calling it Trip Deliveries or something like that. Yeah, I think it was Trip Deliveries. And they were still trying to make drivers keep the scam alive. And it's unfortunate. I apologize to everybody that I signed up. One of their biggest promoters was a YouTuber. I'm not going to say his name, but I signed up under him. And he was going at the RideShare professor for a while. So there was a battle between them. They did squash the beef towards the end. But they were going back and forth on YouTube and for a while. And they finally squashed the beef towards the end. But all the Uber YouTubers were like, "Well, I don't know, we're not sure." I think Dave the Uber slave, he actually went to the corporate headquarters and he was sitting down and he was all aboard. He was like, give me my referral link. And to me, the business model was all over the place too. It was like 2 years of pre-launch. I literally waded through that. It started out network marketing, and this is how they got the states to get licensed. They basically brought their business models to each state, and the states were like, "No, this is not going to fly with a network marketing business model." And not that all network marketings are not scams, but the idea of network marketing scares most people into thinking it's a scam. So they were like, "No, this business model is not going to fly in our state." So they changed the whole business model to affiliate marketing, which could work. Affiliate marketing, Uber did affiliate marketing when they were signing up drivers. Lyft does affiliate marketing. It's basically every company has some type of affiliate marketing program. So they were like, "Okay, we'll let that fly." And they licensed quite a few states. Again, it only became a scam because he lied about the app. They lied for good, I want to say 4 years. They lied about an app that they never had until they finally hired this guy, Taha Abbasi, and put a lot of pressure on this dude to build an app in like 6 months. 6 months to a year, and he just couldn't do it. And he finally outed them and said they never had an app. They lied. They were trying to say he was hired to revamp the app. Revamp an app they never had. And to this day, I haven't seen anything from Trip Deliveries, and they're still saying it's real and all this stuff. I haven't seen anything lately. I think the last time a recruiter hit me up was, I want to say, sometime last year or the year before that. It might have been, sometime last year. And they still were trying to keep that Trip Deliveries alive. I believe he has a son and daughter that are still trying to promote this stuff. And all it is a scheme to get more money out of drivers. But the entrepreneur, he was even like, "I don't know, it could be a scam, maybe not a scam, but just in case it's not, my link's below." And I ain't gonna lie, on this channel, on the Nice Guy Driver channel, I took down all my Trip videos, or most of them anyway, because I didn't want to give that negative vibe when new subscribers came aboard, because everybody did look at it as, a possible scam. I can't stand when you park somewhere and you get people that want to park right next to you when there's like, let me just move real quick, guys. It kills me. Like, I'm in a parking lot with like hundreds of spaces, and you will literally get a driver that will park right next to you. It happens to me every time when I'm trying to do a video. I'm out here in New Britain, downtown New Britain right now, New Britain, Connecticut. But where we're at right now, I haven't heard anything from, like I said, trip recruiters. So it is, I didn't know it was an actual scam until the chief technology officer came out and said it was straight up. They never had an app. It's a scam. Well, he didn't say it was a scam, but he was like, they never had an app, and this company's going down. He had a lawsuit. They were trying to make him sound like an idiot when they hired him. But I think the fact that Trip came along, if Trip never came along at all, and we had another company came along, I think we wouldn't have such a bad taste in our mouth for a actual subscription-based rideshare. Because now, think about it. All those states that Trip went in, what are they going to do? What if you're the person that introduced a subscription model in all those states? They're going to be like, we heard this before. They're going to have that negative vibe. And that doesn't get us to our goal of getting a subscription-based company at least as large as Lyft, so we can have a third option. Now, of course, there's a million and one, I'm not going to say a million and one, but there's a lot of other gig apps. There's a lot of food delivery apps. There's a lot of shopping apps. I personally like RideShare over food delivery. So even if a subscription-based food delivery company came along outside of Uber, Lyft, DoorDash, I wouldn't do it. I just wouldn't. But I would love to see Connecticut do a local app. And I had a driver once before I got back on the platform, because I took a little break during the pandemic, and the driver said, well, when we were talking about this, he was like, well, why don't you do it? I was like, I don't have the resources, I don't have the knowledge. And he was like, well, you gotta work with the right people. And I was like, yeah, you got a point. I should be trying to search for the right people in Connecticut to try to put something together, because I know New Haven has a co-op situation in New Haven. They have a large co-op situation. I don't know about Hartford. I don't understand why, with all the drivers, why can't we put together a co-op situation that benefits all the drivers so we all can benefit? I don't understand it. I really don't. It's killing me, because even if I leave this industry, because you're going to have your haters, well, why don't you just get out of the industry? Because that may happen. I'm probably going to stay in transportation, but eventually I do want to get out of the industry as far as rideshare and do more of a fleet limousine format, go private. I'm working towards that now. As you could see in a lot of my videos, I talk about going private. But it's not, it takes dollars, it takes money, and that's my goal. But I would love to see, even if I get out of the industry, a local subscription-based model even work in Connecticut. And then maybe we could expand from there. And maybe I need to be a part of that. Maybe I need to stop being, the complainer and start coming up with solutions. like some of you haters are saying in the comments. That might be what I need to do. I might have to get into one of these co-ops and make something happen, because this is ridiculous. We need a good subscription-based company to at least compete with Lyft. I don't know if a company could just buy Lyft and just change the whole format because they're public. That's probably not going to be feasible. Especially with the current board that they have, because the old CEOs, the two jamokes that started the company, are still on the board. They hired a new CEO, but I'm pretty sure they're still on the board, and they're not going to go subscription based, because that would actually give drivers more power. So it has to probably be a company that starts fresh. And I don't know that I could pull it off. I think the power is going to be probably in a co-op. I don't think any one person, unless they have millions of dollars, could pull this off. I really don't. And the beauty is, if you start in a state that Trip never signed up, I think you have a better chance of launching this. I don't think New York, California, any of those places are going to hear it right now. Not now. But I believe one of the states they never hit might be open to the idea. Let me know what you think in the comments. Kind of a rainy Saturday today, but I'm gonna pick up a couple rides anyway and go home and put together some videos. I'll see you guys in the next one. If you haven't yet, help support your boy. Subscribe, like, comment, and I'm going to see you guys in the next one. Thank you.